Hey, welcome to the first ever edition of What's Next. Robert Giovanetti with Joe McGuire. Coach, tell us about what's next. Why what's next?
You know, we've really talked about it a lot this week, getting ready for spring football. But, you know, I think the biggest thing when we talk about what's next is good things are going to happen on the football field and bad things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen in life, bad things are going to happen in life. And in that moment when they happen, you can't stay in that moment and then be successful in the next moment. And so we talk all the time about, hey, look, we're going to fix what's going on. We're going to deal with what's going on. But in that moment, we've got to get to the next moment to be the best version of ourselves. So we're always, what's next? If you come out to the practice field next week for spring football, you're probably going to hear me say what's next 1,000 times, just to alert them like, hey, let's get to the next play and we'll fix everything else later.
Where did you learn that from? Is that a Matt Rule thing, or where'd that come from?
It is. It's a Matt Rule thing. You know, there's different things in my career that we've talked about, you know, next play, but the Matt Rule always talked about what's next. And it was funny. I'll never forget 2017, we're not playing very good on defense, and Rob Dvorak, who's the linebackers coach at Nebraska, great young coach, his job was to say what's next to Phil Snow during the game, who was the DC. Because Coach Snow, if we gave up a big play, he'd just go on and Rob, you would hear him on the sideline, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next, what's next? And, you know, that's just a way to get to the next play.
That might be, can I have that as a retirement job? Can I be on your sideline?
Yes.
Coach, what's next?
Yeah.
I just do
You say it a lot. You say it a lot to me. I'm telling you.
I think that would be good for me. You might think, hey, look at this great studio.
Right.
We built for this. But this is actually your office.
Yeah, this is the closing room.
Yeah, tell us about this room here.
So this was a great idea. You know, again, I think so many things in this building. You had different people that coordinated on it, you know, but I think this was really Dusty Womble's idea. You know, having an office, a really grand office where you have a work area. I have a daily work area with my desk and where I'm going to watch film and everything, but then having a place that you call the closing room, that you're going to bring the parents in, you're going to be the players in. You've got a great view of Jones AT&T, and to sit down and talk about what it looks like to commit to Texas Tech and what it's going to be like being a Red Raider. We do have a lot of things in this office. You know, we've got a PS5, so I always tell my guys, man, they're never bothering me. They can come in here and play anytime they want, the current players, and you know, we've got M&Ms and Skittles and all kinds of stuff outside with hot Cheetos and honey buns. We did want to make it, you know, very player-friendly for those guys to come up here and hang out with me too.
Do you ever get up and go play the PlayStation?
No, I don't, but Brian Nance is the resident PS5. You know, he likes to talk a lot of smack about beating anybody in Madden and NCAA 25, and so he's the guy that uses it the most.
I think that's kind of the theme I get from your office, this area, your work side, a lot of family photos, you know, where you do your work, and you get that, I think, with this staff and around here, it does feel like a family atmosphere everywhere you go.
Yeah, that's what we want. You know, we want these guys, whenever they come into the building, you know, they feel how much we care about them. They feel that they're part of the family. You know, I'll get texts from parents, maybe a guy's going through something, or maybe he's homesick or whatever, and I sit down and talk to him, and I'll get a text from a parent, you know, saying, thank you, Coach. And my response is, hey, y'all are family. Like, y'all are a part of this family. And so we want to invest in them that way. So you want this building to feel that way, that it feels like home whenever you walk in here.
You and I were talking before, and we were talking about you getting started in coaching, and you're talking about Debbie's grandma that you told her you're going to be a teacher and a coach. What was your subject? What did you teach in high school?
So I started out my first year, I got an emergency certification. I was at Crowley High School, and I taught U.S. history. But that was just, they needed a history teacher. I had enough hours so they could emergency certify. But from that, I got my certification in special education. And so my 3 years or 2 years after that at Crowley, I taught self-contained, emotionally disturbed. My subject areas were science and history. I had another teacher, a co-teacher that taught English and math. they would not ask me to teach math. I can tell you that right now. And then I have my own English, it's kind of a Crowley English that they probably wouldn't want me to teach that. And then whenever I went to Cedar Hill, I taught in the alternative school whenever I was an assistant, and spent 6 years in the alternative school. So I taught history there, and then I handled all the IAPs and all the, modifications for anybody that came to the alternative school that was, special ed.
Let's get into this a little bit. You've been doing this a long time, obviously. Anybody that's been around you when the players are coming by, you got a lot of guys.
Yeah.
You have a relationship, seems like, with every one of them. Has any of that changed with how college athletics is changing?
No, not for me. It can't. We talk about all the time with having Antonio Huffman, having James Blanche and his staff, Brian Nance, having Quentin Jordan, our DFO. They do a really good job of taking care of the business side of it. I get involved whenever I need to or have to, but I still want that pure. Yeah. I think there's a purity in a coach-player relationship, and I want that relationship. So I have great people that handle certain things and keep me informed of what's going on, but me not really having to get directly involved.
Yeah, there's kind of a level of buffers for you.
There is, because whenever I get involved in it, it's usually not a good thing, and I don't want to go. Yeah. I really want to keep the purity of the coach-player relationship.
And I know you do get involved when you have to.
Yes.
But it still seems like that doesn't really impact the relationship you got with the guys.
No, it doesn't. I learned a long time ago, man, I'm dealing with young men. I know this. I made a lot of mistakes whenever I was 18, 19, 20, 21, and still making them at 53, and so I understand there's a growth period with these guys, and there's things that you just got to understand that you've got to help them through those situations. So I try not to. I try to keep it to where we've got the same relationship, and it's worked well. I'm starting, literally January started 31 years of coaching, and so this is my 31st year going into this spring ball, and try to keep it the exact same.
I was having this conversation with Matt Dowdy yesterday about recruiting, rev share. Yeah, the money's great, right? But right. I was telling him about Davis Martin, who pitched here, who's now pitched for the White Sox. He struck out Ohtani the other day in spring training, and he may be their opening day starter. And he married his wife Jenna as a volleyball player. Right. They come back. There's so much more than the dollars, right? That this may be where you meet your spouse.
Right.
Maybe all the things that might come out of your career. The money's great, obviously, but there's got to be something maybe that's a differentiator.
No, I think it is. Texas Tech is such a unique place. I think as a whole, we're a family. Whenever you talk about not just the athletic department and what Kirby Holcutt does and what the environment he wants to create, but just the university as a whole. I talk to our guys all the time, and one of the first things I do whenever we have our official visits and we're talking to the parents and the players for the first time, the guys in that room, they're probably going to be in your wedding. When you do have a kid, they're one of the first people to call. I always tell the parents, I'm going to be one of the first people they call whenever they get engaged. I'm going to be one of the first people they call whenever they're going to have a kid, or I've failed in that relationship piece. But it is more, man. You look at it like, even when you're sitting there telling me this, I instantly think of John Sellers and Tracy. I mean, they met here. She played softball here, and he played football here. And just think of the impact that they've made on this athletic program and this university, in both programs, softball and football. And they met here. And so that's a cool story.
And so to me, I think about and we'll talk a little bit about the portal class, but you had this great portal class.
Yeah.
You had these guys coming in that could have gone anywhere, right? And so many of them were just blown away by the facilities and everything else. But they also were saying, man, it's just like a family here.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Maybe every place says it, but there is something different about this place.
Yeah, I think it's the people. It's the people in the community. You have such a I've talked to like Shill Wood, who's, our brand new defense coordinator. Kenny Perry and I went and had lunch yesterday with Coach Morton, Baron Morton's dad. And, we're coming back, and Shill said the same thing. He goes, man, this place is different. Like everywhere you go in the community, somebody's wearing a double T.
Right.
You go and to one of my favorite Mexican food restaurants, and every waitress or waiter is wearing a double T, you know, so you've got that. And then whenever you come in to the facility, we have purposely hired energetic, positive people that know that the most important thing in this building is the player. The player is the most important thing in this building. And so they pour into the players. So you feel that energy and that family atmosphere.
Hey, great job of not mentioning your favorite restaurant. You just said your favorite Mexican restaurant. That was you've been well coached by somebody.
Well, I've got a few of them, and so I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right. You'd hurt some feelings.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that portal class. And Texas Tech, through smart people like yourself, Cody Campbell.
Yes.
Cody might be a little smarter than you.
No, there's no doubt.
Right.
I'm not even coming close to him.
Cody's pretty smart, so that's not an insult. Just say Cody's a little smarter than you. Saw this opening, right? This gap, as nobody calls it. Like
he did.
This
There was a gap.
And it shows you these guys stepped up. I hate to name names. Cody's not the only one. John, you mentioned John,
Yep.
Gary Peterson. There's others that have stepped up to help. But man, that's amazing, the class we brought in. And what's that been like, those guys kind of ingratiating themselves here to the program?
It really has blown me away from the standpoint of how fast they have bought into what we're trying to do. I mean, I get a text from Howard Sampson the other day. He and I were texting back and forth about something else, and I said, man, you did a really good job attacking the Big 12 Challenge. I mean, this guy's 6'8", 350 pounds, and he's putting his feet and his hands into 25-pound plates and having to crawl across the field. And he goes, Coach, man, I've never done anything like that. But he said, I've never been on a team like this. You think he's been here now 2 months. And he's saying, I've never been on a team to where guys are pushing each other so hard to be great like this. And so, man, we've got a lot of people. The Big Lee Hunter, big personality, defensive tackle, feels the same. Mellow Height, he's come to me multiple times just saying the same thing. And so we've got a lot of great players that are buying into what we want to do.
Hey, I've seen Mello a couple times. I know one thing. He knows where the weight room is.
He definitely does. You and I can only hope to ever look like that. And I think we're past our prime.
There's no way I could ever in a million years have looked.
We could live in there, and we're not looking in that.
I mean, this guy, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
And I mean, just normal dude, right?
Yeah, twitchy guy that is very happy, smiles a lot, and is very happy to be here.
Yeah, like he sees the weight room and goes into it. You and I see it, and we walk by it.
Yeah.
What a great spot that is.
Yeah, no doubt. That's great. Y'all are doing a great job in there.
Keep up.
Give them a thumbs up. Keep up the good work.
Good work. How anxious do you get at this point going, man, I want to see these guys on the field, and we're going to start that next week.
Yeah, I know everybody's excited. We've been in football school now for over a month, and so we feel really good about our install of where we are, offense, defense, and special teams. But I'm ready to get them out there. You know, you see them in shorts and T-shirts and how much bigger we are as a team, the movement of these big guys, the speed at receiver. Reggie Virgil can absolutely fly. He'll be one of the fastest kids in the nation. Quentin Joyner, what he's doing at running backs. But what's great is, you know, whenever you bring in guys like this, competition level goes up, and the people that are rising in the competition, you know, like Cam Dickey and Jacoby Williams, they're not backing down from anything. Our young linemen that now they're 3 years in the program, Danny Seal and Dylan Shaw and Nick Fattig, I mean, they're stepping up to the challenge. So, you know, it's really exciting. I can't wait. You know, Monday's going to be great. Wednesday's going to be great because we're in helmets and T-shirts or spiders. But Friday's going to be a lot of fun because we put the pads on, and now we get a little physical, and it's going to be good.
How has it been with Mac? And you mentioned Shield. There's got to be a little bit of a transition time for those guys. How's that been?
Yeah, it's been really good. You know, Mac, he has an air raid background, but it's really what he has done offensively. There's some really good things that he has meshed to make it the Mac Leftwich offense, the Texas Tech offense. You have some air raid concepts. You have literally some of the Art Browse choice routes with the wide as far as formations with the wide receivers, and then you have some run and shoot in there. So there's some really good concepts that make it unique. And then, man, he's a coach's kid. His dad is an O-line coach. He's a college O-line coach. He's the O-line coach at Lake Dallas High School. And so we're going to run the ball. I mean, he told some donors a couple weeks ago, look, I'll be disowned if we don't run the ball. My dad would disown me as an O-line coach. So we're going to be able to run the ball too. And so it's been great. And I think he's really excited because you mix in the coaches we have here. Josh Cochran, I think, is one of the brightest young coaches whenever it comes to creating run concepts that stress a defense. And so there's been a really good mesh.
I was watching a kid named Garrett McGuire the other day coach the backs, and he was doing a good. They were in that walkthrough room. It's crazy to watch that happen and how you can show these guys different situations. I think that's going to be a difference maker. And you talked about one of the NFL teams has talked about how great this is, and we haven't talked about enough about the facility. We can do it obviously later on, but that's going to be a difference maker as well.
Yeah, it is. We're bringing in for our football clinic in April. We're bringing in James Campen, who played center at Green Bay, and then he coached at Green Bay. Green Bay was kind of the first to have the walkthrough room. And I was FaceTiming with him and showing him, and he goes, Coach, I can't wait to get there in April. I'm going to blow you away with the things that you can do. So we already do a lot of stuff with it, but I think we can take it to the next level with him, and he's really fired up. It's been huge because we can get 120 reps in 15 minutes in that walkthrough room, just clicking through video and taking 2 steps where you're supposed to go and getting to the next play.
Yeah, it's exciting to watch. I think it's going to be a difference maker. I want to talk real quick before we get out. I saw on your whiteboard in there, Conyers had written you a note. Those guys at the Combine representing the Double T, and hopefully they've all got a bright future at the next level. I think Conyers is a guy that can make an impact at the next level.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he wrote that, and then he sent me a text saying, I put something on your board. Just a cool story of a guy that, was here for really a year, of how he connected, and it shows, again, we talked about relationships.
Yeah,
relationship we have.
You would have thought he'd been here 5 years.
No doubt. I wish we'd had him for the 3 years, my 3 seasons. But I'll tell you, man, he had a great combine. I think he is a long-time NFL player. I could see him playing in the league for 10 years. Taj Brooks absolutely destroyed the combine for what he needed to do. Caleb had a great, I knew he would test well and did a good job. I thought Josh Kelly did some good things. So we had 4 guys there, and then they're getting ready for their pro day here in a couple of weeks that will be at the Star. We have a Big 12 pro day, and so they're getting ready for that.
Hey, I'm a scout, right? I don't all these things. But I know that Josh Kelly can play.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some of that too, right?
Yeah, I actually, a good friend of mine coaches at San Francisco, and he sent me a text, and he goes, give me a one sentence on Josh Kelly. And I said, a first down machine. He led the country in converting third down to first down in catches. And I said, the dude just finds a way to get open and has got phenomenal hands, So he'll go out and do a good job at the Big 12 Pro Day, and then he's going to get on with a team and be in the NFL for a long time.
He's going to get a chance to show himself.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot. Like, I can't wait to see how Mason Tharp tests at the Pro Day. Dre McCray is going to destroy the 40. I can't wait to see him. And we've got a good number of guys that are going to have an opportunity to make a team.
All right, we'll do a lot of this over the next few weeks, talking to you on what's next. We are in March Madness. You're at every game. What do you think about what Grant's doing over there?
He's incredible. I felt it in the interviews when we interviewed for a basketball coach. Yeah, I got lucky enough to be on the committee, and I tell him every time he does that, he's making me look good.
Maybe you are smartest kid.
Yeah, I know. No, I wouldn't go anywhere close to that. I'm so proud of him, man, because there's such a fight in that team. And again, that's West Texas. That's Texas Tech. That, whenever you step on the court, you step on a baseball field, softball field, if you step on the tennis court, anywhere, you're going to have your hands full because how hard we play. And that's what he does. His guys, he just finds a way to win, and that's what I felt when in that interview is like, I'm going to take my roster And whatever that roster looks like, I'm going to find a way to win. And, man, he's done such a great job. And I can't wait to watch, I am a huge March Madness fan. I think it's one of the best times of the year. And, man, we'll have TVs on everywhere in this building to watch some games.
And I bet if they make it to San Antonio, I bet you'll find a way.
Oh, we'll be there. We'll be there
for sure.
I'll be there, definitely.
Grant said something in his press conference the other day after an intense game. I can't remember which game it was. It might have been Houston. He was talking about just what he's thinking about the sideline. He was like, I think sometimes this is fun. What a great environment. Do you ever have a chance? I'm sure he doesn't really spend much time thinking about that. As a coach, do you have that opportunity during a big game? Like me as a guy standing there, I'm nervous or whatever. But do you even have time for that, to be thinking about the emotions of it? Or you're just thinking next play, what's next?
There's the moments of the quarters. You think about, we've had some cool moments, especially night games, to where the drone show so I remember the first drone show at TCU, and we're in the fourth quarter and it's a tight game and I'm talking to the team and we break down and I look at the video board and I'm like, what is all this going on? And I remember, there's a drone show. So I turn around and I'm like, this is pretty cool. I think you can feel the energy and the atmosphere. It was a disappointing game for us, but man, the energy and atmosphere for that Colorado game, it was off the chart, and so that's what's great about our fan base, man. They just bring it every single game, and, we need it again. We've got some huge games at home, and this Jones AT&T has to be the X factor. Like whenever a team comes in, they've got to feel our fan base. They've got to feel the energy in this stadium, and that has to be the X factor.
Music, turn it up or turn it down?
Turn it up, man. Turn it up as loud as it can.
Do you got anything else you want to talk about today?
Man, I'm ready for spring football. I know we'll have a lot of stuff to talk about then, and throughout this. But man, the one thing I can't say enough is thank you to the fan base and our alumni base, because more and more stuff that comes out on social media about this building. The people that, backed this project and gave to this project, I've shown a lot of people the building, and I always tell them, your Red Raider pride meter is going to skyrocket. Whenever people walk into this facility, they're blown away.
It's crazy. It's crazy nice. It seems like every time I give a tour, we always get the benefit. We see you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're out and about, so that's always a good little added bonus, too. We might have to start charging.
No doubt.
To have you on there. What's next for you today? What's the rest of your day today?
We got our local letterman. So we have a lunch today for our local letterman. We're actually going to do it here in the alumni lounge that overlooks the practice field. So I'm fired up about that. And then we're got a dodgeball tournament because we're in team commitment week. And so we got a dodgeball tournament this afternoon. And they're just getting closer and closer. We got the program coming in, the military group coming in Thursday and Friday to finish off this phase of off season, and then we crank it up Monday. So dodgeball tournament this afternoon. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah, keep your head low, right?
Yes, no doubt.
Strategy. All right, for Joe McGuire, I'm Robert Juvenet. Thanks for watching the first episode of What's Next.